I want to introduce Veronica before we actually start the program. So, she has played a huge role in the executing of the production of the Women's Empowerment Expo. She is a Los Angeles native and founder of Now Marketing, a Latina-owned and fully operated firm. She currently works at the LA Times, where she utilizes her talents to develop business partnerships, create strategies, and implements execution of all her Hispanic initiatives and programs. As a bilingual senior marketing executive and entrepreneur, Veronica brings over 20 years of experience in traditional and new media formats. Veronica has worked with prestigious corporations such as House of Blues Entertainment and Univision Radio Los Angeles. She has represented brands such as TurboTax, and now she has representing the LA Women's Empowerment Expo. So please help me in introducing Veronica Alvarado.
Shout out for all the women who showed up today. Ladies, thank you. First of all, thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. And most of all, I'd like to thank everybody who took the time to actually support this event. And first, I want to go and read a message that was sent by our publisher from the LA Times, Espanol. And it says like this. We are grateful that we were invited to support this important event, the Women's Empowerment Expo. We know the importance of the role that women play in every aspect of our society. But most importantly, we recognize that women are the future and that we all should do our part in supporting this movement. Our mission at the LA Times in Espanol is to be involved and supportive of programs that elevate our communities, with the understanding that in doing so, we are also helping our overall society. Latinos are starting to be so involved in everything that we are seeing and doing that we will begin to shape this country, but in particular, this city that we love. We want to be a source of credible información for our Latinos and our bilingual communities to help them better understand issues and make educated decisions. From our publisher, Roaldo Moran at the LA Times in Espanol. On behalf of LA Times Espanol and our entire LA Times family, we would like to thank Christina for bringing us on her journey and this dream that she has brought to life today. To our participating vendors and sponsors, and a special thanks to our general manager of Villa Verde Country Club, Anna. Where's Anna? Anna, thank you for opening your beautiful home to us and making this possible. If you want to have your next event, you know who to go see right after this party. And to 3 spectacular women that have supported the LA Times in making this beautiful room come to life by being styled. Gina Hernandez from Gina Events, back there. To Celia from Pretty Little Things. Celia, come on, stand up. And Maria from Balloon Creations. These are just 3 of the few who helped put this room together for you. And thank you to each and every one of you for all of your product and sponsor donations. And now I'd like to introduce you to the woman of the hour. Christina Marie Brophy was born and raised in Oxnard, California. Christina has overcome multiple diversities and has partnered with hundreds of business organizations and nonprofits to empower women and victims of sexual, mental, and physical abuse. Her vision is to encourage women to use their voice in helping them discover their potential. Her passion is to shine light on oppression, female entrepreneurship, adversity, and advocacy for present social issues. Christina took a leap of faith and drove into creation of this very first Women's Empowerment Expo in Ventura County, where over 700 women joined forces and energies to establish strength, power, and commitment. Her mission is to inspire, motivate, and empower women to drive changes in their own lives and in this world. The Women's Empowerment Expo is also dedicated to promote physical and mental wellness by spreading awareness, providing resources, and also uniting female leaders in different industries such as media, entertainment, radio, health, and wellness, to help empower women to become the best authentic versions of themselves. She soon developed a talent for event productions and marketing, leading her to form the Ventura County Network Group and the Creative Media Studio, and now the Women's Empowering Network, geared towards to create platforms for businesses, organizations, and individuals to develop, grow, and market their business to project their own visions. From this, she was able to connect her passion to unite amazing women for greater success and to help those in need, to help voice the voiceless. Christina is firm in believing that we rise by lifting each other. And with this heart-warm welcome, I ask you to please stand up as we give it up for Christina, the person behind this vision.
Nerves going crazy right now. I wanted to thank everybody for showing up today. You guys could have been anywhere else, and you guys chose to be here, so I really appreciate everybody for showing up. I was going to go into my speech, but there's been a woman who has been so supportive, not only like with my organization, but has helped me support youth. And this Christmas, every holiday I usually randomly will just post on Facebook or Instagram if there's any families that need any extra help, or if I could help with presents. And this woman actually was a attendee at one of a workshops that I had earlier this year, and she sat in the front row, and I asked her what were her goals or why was she at the workshop, and she was embarrassed to even talk about. I remember her saying, like, I don't want to talk about it, it's embarrassing. And this woman has grown so much through her business this year. She's at every single event. You can find her on social media, on everyone's post. She's always donating. And so this year I posted that I wanted to help a family. I wanted to help some girls some way, somehow, and Amy reached out to me. Oh, sorry, Amy, I gave away your name already. But she reached out to me and she's like, if there's any way that I could help, I'd love to help. So we we went to a shop, and it was like a toy store. And I told the owner that I wanted to do something special for 15 girls that are in an underprivileged program in Los Angeles. And I was like, can you give me a deal on some toys? Me and this girl, we want to take these girls on a shopping spree. Amy was the first one that contacted me, and we were able to get 15 girls from an organization called GEM for underprivileged girls in Los Angeles. We brought them out to the store. We basically paid for a bunch of toys for these girls to go and pick out whatever they want. And to hear these girls say that this is the best day ever, and I remember them saying, we could get whatever we want. And it was just so amazing, and I wanted to recognize Amy for her support. And after doing that, the mayor of Los Angeles heard about what we had done and presented us with certificates. And so I specifically wanted to bring Amy up here. She has donated in every single gift bag. Her brand is called Orgullosa. Orgullosa. And she's made sure she made sure all the girls had t-shirts, gifts, everybody had gifts in their gift bags, and she's always the first one. She kept buying tickets. She's like, I'm gonna donate these tickets. I'm like, I'm gonna ban you from buying tickets, you know? So I just wanted to present, this is not from me, it's actually from the mayor of Los Angeles. So I just wanted to give this to Amy. And she's gonna say a few words about herself.
She always wants me to talk, and I don't like talking. There's like so many people. I didn't want to talk at your event, and there was like 20 people, and now she's making me talk in front of like 600 of you. Yeah, I wanted to donate and sponsor 20 girls to come here. I don't know, because I kept sponsoring, so. And everybody got stuff in their swag bags from Orgullosa clothing. And I just like to give back to the community. It's just something that I like to do. So we're here, I'm here. Anybody has an event, let me know. So you guys all have my handle on IG is Orgullosa Clothing. I have a booth out there, so you guys can come and get a business card if you don't know how to spell it. And I have shirts, not just for Latinas, but for women. This shirt is my shirt, so you guys can come and shop. And thank you for everybody coming. This is amazing, like that we can get this many women together. We're gonna do big things this year.
A little bit higher. Alrighty, so this is my second Women's Empowerment Expo, and we love it. I'm just so grateful that everybody's here, and I think a lot of people are like, what is the Women's Empowerment Expo? Why did you start the Women's Empowerment Expo? And so here I'm gonna get a little emotional, I'm gonna go a little deep, but I'm gonna tell you the reason behind it and what I'm here for. There's a time where I felt like I wasn't enough, but I've come to find that I am enough. There's a time where I hated the color of my skin, and I dealt with racism not only for being black, but also for being Mexican. And I love being Blaxican. I get to celebrate Hispanic History Month and Black History Month. There's a time where, and nobody really knows this because it's my first time sharing it, but there was a time where I was raped, and I didn't speak up about it because I felt dirty. And I didn't feel like anybody would believe me. But I know it wasn't my fault, and I'm not all those horrible things that I thought about myself. There's a time where I sat at a table and I took pill after pill, wishing to no longer be here. And I actually ended up hospitalized. But I know that I'm here today because this is where God wanted me to be. There's a time when I found my clothes thrown all over the lawn for the last time, and I took what I could, and I actually lived out of my car for over a month, and I didn't tell anyone. After the security knocking on my window telling me that I can't be here is when I realized that I wanted more for myself. I was in a relationship, and my family doesn't know. They're always like, why don't you have a boyfriend? Well, I never told them that I was living with this guy. And he had all the money. I didn't have a lot of money for myself, and I lived there, and if I didn't come home or if I didn't do what I was told, I would get kicked out. And I realized that I was in this relationship for things, for money, to be taken care of because I didn't think I could take care of myself. And I think for the last time when I took my things, I decided that I didn't want this, and I left, and I knew I wanted more. I started drinking, a lot of drinking, and I found myself in even darker places. And there was a day when I was just like, I want more for myself. So I started going on Eventbrite looking for inspirational events. And there's just one event that I found. It was actually a women's event. It was vendors. There was a speaker who said something like, if you're tired of doing the same thing, then stop doing it over and over. And right there, something clicked, like, why do you keep going back if you're tired of this? And that's when I was like, that one speaker changed my whole mentality. And I was like, this inspired me. This hearing this woman, it touched me. And I want more of this. I want to take this to where I live, and I want to get women to talk about these things that I've been through that I don't have the courage to go up there and say in front of people yet. And that's basically where it was born. I just found different women who went through these different adversities and you know, and there's a lot of the women here today are going to be they're able to talk about things that I still can't talk about. So that's why I have them here. And I mean, that's the whole, like, that's the message that they're gonna share is all I wanted out of this event. And in planning this event, I was like, I knew I wanted to get people together, but I didn't know how. So I'm like, let me go and network. I remember walking into a networking event, and it was probably 90% white males, older white males, and I walked in as this 28-year-old black-looking young girl with no business cards, and everybody went around and was talking about how successful they were, how many years in business they had been, and when it came to me, I said, skip. And I walked out of there, and I was like, I have nothing under my belt. I'm not white. I'm not old enough, and like, how could I even do this? And that's when I knew that I wanted to create something where, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a vendor, it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter how many years in business that you've been, but there's a place for you. So that's what it's about, and I'm just grateful for all you guys being here. So thank you for listening to me. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the host of the expo, and all these women are just going to wow you because they're all amazing. So just give me 1 second. I'm a little not prepared right now. Okay. So hosting this year's 2019 Women's Empowerment Expo is one of Ventura County's #1 radio stations, Q95.9 FM radio host, blogger, and a woman who is fierce in confidence with her faith as her solid foundation. Please give a huge round of applause for Katherine Murillo.
I am just like so proud. That was a huge deal for her. Give her one more round of applause. I'm blown away. When I tell you that this woman, literally blood, sweat, and tears have gone in to this event. I shouldn't have listened to you before I talk. You've got me feeling emotional. But I was thinking last night, because we were running around and getting all the last minute stuff done, and I started thinking about the vendors and all of the women who have had these visions and their dreams and their mind for months, maybe even years, and this is the first time. Please make sure you go visit and support. This is the first time many of them are putting it on display for people to see. This is the first time that they're believing in themselves. So please make sure you go and you support. And I was thinking, gosh, it was midnight. Of course, I'm writing my speech. And so I'm thinking, someone is running around putting gift bags together and tying the last minute bows and getting all their merchandise together. And so now I'm like, okay, I need to stop thinking about what they're doing. I need to focus on what I'm doing. And I started thinking about the words I wanted to say and what I wanted to say. And I started thinking how important it is when we have to sit with ourselves, when we have to sit with our thoughts. It's kind of like my favorite, unfavorite thing to do at the same time, but it's so important. Sometimes we're forced to, sometimes we choose to. And a while ago, I really had some time to sit with myself. I was turning 30. And I was having that moment, and I booked a solo trip for myself because I hated the like, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, I'm booking a trip out of here. I didn't want the pressure of it. So I took a trip by myself, and I was going through this period of feeling like I was really questioning myself and my identity. And I don't really question myself. I question what I want to do, what I want to eat, all that, all the time, but I never question myself. And anyone around me knows if you come to me and you're questioning yourself, I'm like, oh, you are the child of God. You are the daughter of a king. And I go on and on, but now, here I am with that same question, struggling to answer it. So I started thinking about one of the quotes that I really love. I don't want to mess it up. It's from Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love. And, oh, right? So good if you have not read that book. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it says, knowing who you are and why you came here, that you are a child of God and that you came here to heal and be healed is more important than knowing what you want to do. And I'm like, yes, of course, but I will be honest, in that moment, it wasn't still answering the things I was struggling with about my identity and really questioning what that identity was at this point in my life. And so I had packed this book on my trip, and I've had this book for like over a year, and I really feel God put that book in my suitcase himself because it was God's timing that I really needed to read this book at this time. I'm a quote person. I love sharing other people's stuff. And so the book is called Uninvited by Lisa Turkers. And so I'm going to read a little sentence from that. It says, for years, I had been expecting stability from a broken identity. Old patterns of thought must be torn out, and a new way of looking at the core of who I am using God's truth has to be put into place. My identity must be anchored to the truth of who God is and who he is to me. And I am not here to convert anyone or baptize anyone at all. But if you put me on a stage to share my truth, you're definitely going to hear about Jesus. Definitely. And so the quote spoke to me, and so now I'm thinking, okay, my core and God, and who can I figure out who God is to me? I don't know who I am to me right now. I don't know what I want to do in my life, but I'm telling you, there's something about a number, and I told myself I was not going to be that person. I'm like, I am not letting 30 get to me. Like, it got to me. And so I started journaling while I was on this trip. I started journaling a lot, and a lot of these things that we feel we're so alone in. Everyone looks like they have it so figured out. No one has it figured out, but we all look like we do. So then when we have these thoughts, we feel like we're the only ones who still haven't figured it out. So I wanted to share some of my journal because, doesn't everyone share their journal like this? And so I started writing. I said, we become products of our environment. Do I like the product I've become? Our environment has so much influence over who we are and who we think we are and what we want. Am I that person? Do I really want those things? I think I've always felt like I need to present a certain version of myself to people, and sometimes I feel trapped in it, like I'm obligated to perform to their ideas and their perceptions of me. What if I want to create a whole new life? Why can't I? What stops us? And it's crazy because I thought of the founder, Christina Brophy, wherever she took off. Oh, hey, girl. When she first had this God dream, and when she told me about it, because she goes, I know I'm crazy. I said, no, girl, that's a God dream. It is so big that only God could have put that on your heart when she first had the vision for the Women's Empowerment Expo. And so there were people who definitely didn't think something like that was possible. So then obviously it was possible, she had the Ventura County Women's Empowerment Expo. So now she had the second God dream of bringing it to LA. And now people are like, oh, whoa, like you were good here, girl. Stay here, stay local, stay with what you know, stay with who you know. And I don't think they were necessarily being malicious at all. I think they genuinely felt like they were sparing her from what would be a failure. And from this point of view, there are notes she's taking, I know, for the next event. But from this point of view, I think it's safe to say this was not a failure by any means. By any means. started thinking about the women here today, the businesses here today, the organizations here today. I thought about the risk that they had to take in themselves to make that first step. I had to think about the belief in themselves that they had to take that first step. And there will be people along the way that do not support or understand your vision, your dreams, or your decisions. God put that vision on your heart. God put those dreams on your heart. They're there, they're yours. So it's fine if other people do not understand. It is not for them to understand. God didn't give it to them. God gave it to you. And so I started thinking about, what if everyone here waited till they were ready? And I was like, ooh, I struggle with that. It's the story of my life. And so I started thinking about what we do when we're waiting till we're ready. We're blaming it's our job and it's families, and I got this current situation going on and I'm stuck in it, when really we are feeding our fears daily. That is what is keeping us stuck. And so you're gonna hear from incredible women today, incredible women who are gonna take the stage, our panelists over here. And you are gonna hear of their stories and their struggles of having to take that first step into fear. And so I ask that you listen about everyone's different journey with an open heart and an open mind, but I'm also gonna ask that you listen without comparing. Because I sit here sometimes and I listen to these intros of everything everyone's accomplished. I'm like, how are they? Like, what? What am I doing with my life? It is so easy to start thinking that you haven't done enough or you're not where you should be. Success looks different for everyone. Happiness looks different for everyone. Comparison is the thief of joy. Remind yourself of that today. Comparison is the thief of joy. You don't need to defend your success or your happiness to anyone. Know that each of us is here today as survivors of everything we have gone through up to this point in life. Know that each of us are here today with a past, with mistakes made, with lessons learned. Know that each of us is here today whose parents have made sacrifices, whose grandparents have made sacrifices, and ancestors, so that we could be here today. We are here today because God is good. And it may not feel good all the time, but He is good all the time. So my prayer is that you leave here empowered and motivated and encouraged. And I really pray that you know that you are you. That is your power. That is your power, that you are you. So on behalf of the first 2019 LA Women's Empowerment Expo, I want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. The gas money, everyone who bought a booth, everyone, all the sponsors. And I'm really excited because we have an incredible, incredible lineup. I want to introduce Jocelyn, who I'm so grateful, who I know, there's some people I really need to meet, but Jocelyn, I've met her several times. I wore her shirt, which I love, to the Women's March. So she's a first-generation Latina entrepreneur with a background in the entertainment industry. She's produced for various shows on Fuse TV network, as well as digital content for different brands. These days, Jocelyn is the founder of a lifestyle brand, Hire Woman and Hire Woman Agency, a company that is focused on bringing a culture of diversity and inclusion to large corporations and nonprofits in various industries. Jocelyn's biggest passion is helping people break through the mindset blocks and changing generational narratives through her podcast and content, often referred to as Mindset Mommy. Please help me in bringing up Jocelyn Deleon.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be in front of so many people. I didn't realize it was this many, but yay. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it real quick because time is of the essence. So I want to start by saying words are so powerful, and we take advantage of that, or we don't really understand it. I didn't grasp it, but I'm gonna tell you a quick story. In 2016, I was laid off from that job that I loved, where I was producing content, interviewing my favorite artists, and like living the life, right? We were laid off abruptly, and I remember saying wholeheartedly, I never want to work for any other company again. I never want to give them all my ideas just for the next day to be dropped like nothing, right? And so 2 years later, I've never worked for another company. No, okay, well, yes, now, but in those 2 years, nobody would hire me. My background's in financial aid. It's pretty well-rounded, right? And nobody would give me a chance, and I felt so stuck. Has anyone ever felt stuck?
Yes.
Whew, let me tell you, I felt like I was living the same day every single day. I felt like I could not leave my house, or I could not do anything. And in that time, I really invested in myself at like learning about the mind and why we do these things. Why don't we break out of routine? And what is fear? A lot of people will not do anything because they fear rejection. They fear being vulnerable, like Christina telling her story. That takes so much courage. And so today I really want to talk about if you're feeling stuck, rather than just like sitting in that and being like, okay, well, this is just what life is. I think it's really important to figure out why you're feeling that way. Why, like ask questions, ask yourself empowering questions. What could I do to get out of this situation? Anyway, so I was feeling really stuck. I worked on my mindset, and in 2018, God gave me the message, and he's like, okay, hire women. I didn't really understand it, but I was like, I'm gonna run with it. And I realized there's such a lack of women in leadership roles in companies, and I understand that women start businesses out of necessity. And it's so crazy because mostly other people start business because they want to, but we have to, because sometimes people won't hire us. So we have to hire ourselves. We have to believe in our dreams, and trust me, it's been a hard thing to do, but once you get past that mental block, everything changes. It's still hard, but everything changes. And so I just really want to encourage everyone to look inside you. I know we go to these type of events and they feel so amazing and they spark that interest. But when you leave here today, count on yourself to be, you're not always gonna feel motivated, but you have to bet on yourself. You have to do this for yourself because you want a better life, because you want change, you want to be unstuck. Don't rely on anybody else. The answers are always within you. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much. It's really an honor to be around so many women, and I see so much diversity. It's like my heart. Thank you guys. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Now, I would like to bring up two ladies, actually. So, Maya Cryor, she's a filmmaker. She enjoys creating films that are thought-provoking and inspiring. She has produced and directed films such as Sweet Dream and Sela, which have both premiered at venues within the greater Los Angeles area. Maya loves to engage with other filmmakers and industry professionals in order to develop more content to continue diversifying the entertainment industry. And another woman I'm bringing up is Lupe, who is my fellow former Matador. Go Matadors. And yes, I love it. So she is a Latina woman of color and daughter of immigrant parents. She built her work around all things hip hop and entertainment. The host, producer, and music journalist has interviewed artists like Cardi B, DJ Khaled, and Gabrielle Union. Lupe's personal story has inspired her hashtag Brown Girl Rising, a movement to help young girls and women of color celebrate their everyday accomplishments. And this isn't on there, but I gotta tell you something. I don't think I've ever met anyone who hustles harder than this girl over here. So please welcome Maya and Lupe.
guys, my name is Lupe.
Hi, my name is Maya. Women nowadays are understanding their power in their femininity, strength, and gracefulness. Women are also looking to each other to find inspiration and influence. Alone, women are powerful, but together, we are unstoppable, extraordinary, and undefeated.
With that being said, we created a film contest called Queens Recognize Queens, where we showcase content of media representing and empowering women. We had a film contest. We chose 4 finalists, and those finalists are Sarah Lee with Everything Okay, Talia Levin with ETA, Sherry Kwan with Sisterhood, Bria Lay with The Substance, and very own Maya Cryor with Sayla, and we are gonna be premiering them. They're 5 minutes long. Back there, our left, your right. So every intermission, every break in between, you can go on the far corner, and we are right there showcasing their 5-minute films about women empowerment, and overall identification. So thank you so much. Thank you, Christina, and enjoy today.
Christina. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. I feel like you guys can't see me because this podium is so high. Okay, so, I mean, Kat put me on the spot. I really don't like introducing myself, so I'm actually going to move here because no one can see me. I feel awkward talking about that. I really don't like when people have to keep listing off all the accomplishments that they've done, so all I'm going to say is I've been following God's purpose for my life since I was 19. I know I look like I'm 12, but I'm 28, so it's been a journey. And yeah, I have a crazy story and a crazy testimony with stories that people wouldn't believe. So if you want to find me, you can just look me up on Instagram, Jen Deleon, Deleon. And I just want to use my story and testimony to inspire people to believe in yourself, believe in God, and follow your dreams because He put those dreams in your heart for a reason. So the first panel of the Women's Empowerment Expo will focus on collaboration over competition, being a female in a male-dominated industry, entrepreneurship, mental health, and sexual abuse. So I'm gonna bring our amazing panelists. First one, Melissa Rios. She is a radio host based out of Los Angeles, founder and creator of UnravelToday.com. Born and raised in Southern California, she stays relevant to all markets and ages thanks to her background and connection with her fans on social media. I didn't know where she was. Our second panelist is Erica Hayes, a self-motivated filmmaker who directs, produces, and even edits documentaries, feature films, music videos, and commercials nationwide. Video and lighting designer, Erica Hayes is taking the stage in the panel. Her videos are currently in heavy rotation on MTV Jams, VH1 Soul, Centric TV, BET, playing all your favorite music videos and more. Oh, she came up already. The next one is Davina Ferreira. I don't have a Spanish accent. Originally from Miami, Florida, another panelist joining us today, Davina moved to Los Angeles. Davina is founder of Alegria. I have a really bad accent with that. A bilingual magazine with great success as an upscale media platform for Latinas in the USA. Our next panelist is Yanina Oyarzo, a Venezuelan-American lifestyle influencer, sharing her beauty tricks, fashion tips, music finds, and adventures via her social media channels. Joining us today on the panel. Today, she's working as a music consultant, a freelance entertainment host, and creating original content to inspire women of today for various networks. Our next panelist is Ariana Sanchez. She'll be blessing the panel, bilingual actress and comedian born in Denver, Colorado, from immigrant parents. Ariana found her way to boldness when she first formed part of a campaign called Bold Ascension, which is now expanding to Bold Talks, a community that empowers women to overcome adversity from sexual abuse. 2 more. Our next panelist is Casey Kelly. She's on the next panel. So our last panelist for the first panel of today is Myrka Dellanos, once a co-host of Univision's popular news program, chosen as Star of the Year by People in Espanol. Myrka will be joining the stage. full supporter of social services and other humanitarian causes, Dellanos is currently also a journalist and teller of the good news. Please give Myrka a warm welcome. And these are all yours. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to do the panel where I'm going to ask all the women the same question, and then I have individual ones for each one after. So the first question, why is it important to not see other women as competition and not feel afraid to ask for help when needed?
Do I start? Oh, go ahead.
Whoever.
Woo! I'm anxious. Sorry, I usually talk on the radio, so I don't see these many people, so I'm like this. Oh my God! Hello, ladies. I'm Melissa. Thank you so much for having us here, Christina and everybody else. I was thinking about this on the way here, the question, and I was like, what am I gonna say without cursing? How am I gonna say it? Because I know there's kids. I seen a couple of kids out here, and I was like, oh, how do I say it without, being so passionate about it? But I think it's important because I realize that no matter how much I have to give, no matter how much I've experienced, no matter how much I've been through, no matter everything that I can have to offer someone, it won't always be what you need. I don't always have what you need. So I love what I do so much that if somebody comes to me, let's say for example, like with the abuse, and asks me for advice with that, I probably wouldn't be able to help you out or give you some good advice because I haven't been through that. So competition amongst us women wouldn't allow me to forward you or to help you find someone who can help you with that. So it's important to not have competition within us because then we wouldn't succeed because I don't have everything to offer you. I can't offer you everything. So if I'm so busy trying to put the next person down or not give them an opportunity or not let them shine, then I'm not helping you and I'm not helping myself. So I think that's why it's important to not have competition.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Absolutely, I'll chime in. One thing, I'm Erica Hayes. I do production as well, but I believe that teamwork makes the dream work. A lot of times we try to do things by ourselves and then we fail. But then once you add another person and add another person, you add a team of people who are proficient in the things that they do, that's how you can really succeed. So it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a team to get anything done, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Yanina. I come from the beauty industry, so with me, it has a lot of, the competition aspect to it. A lot of people see it, and it's like, okay, you're doing a beauty video, this person's doing a beauty video, this person landed a campaign, the other person didn't land it. And I think for me, I was actually having a conversation about this on the way here. It comes down to ego. And are you really focusing on your ego, or are you actually saying, I am doing this because I want to help someone. I don't do beauty for the vain. I want to be able to help you feel beautiful. If I went through a dark past and a dark time in my life, and I was able to find this to be able to make myself feel beautiful, I want to share it. We can all win. I tell that to all my friends. I do a lot of videos with one girl. Her name is Gabriella Bandy, and she's in fitness. She loves beauty, but she's not as knowledgeable in it. So when people see our videos, they see a different aspect. She's a little bit rougher. She's more on the cursing side, where I'm more pink and girly. And it's like she brings out the toughness in me, and I bring out the girliness in her, and it's beautiful. There's no reason why you have to diminish somebody else or not let somebody else shine, because what you realize is when you put two lights together, it's so much brighter. So.
I just want to add to that. I'm an actress, and there's a lot of roles out there. There's enough for everybody. It's like, oh, if she got the Latina role, guess what? I'm not going to get the Latina role. No, we all have something different to provide to it, like Dave said. Something different to bring to the table. There's enough for all of us. And if there isn't, we're creating more. So if there's more people to do it, then there's more work being created.
For me, it's so beautiful to see that through this sort of dark
time that we're living, we have come together more as a family of all races, colors, women who want to pursue their dreams. So for me, as the owner of this bilingual platform called Alegría, it's so beautiful to be able to showcase and highlight the contributions of women of all walks of life, because, you know, as we know, magazines for a while, it was all about beauty and consumerism. And I always thought about bringing a platform that would share inspirational stories that we could read and younger generations could read and get inspired, people that look like us. And being here in Los Angeles for 20 years now, my parents are Colombian, and seeing that as a family, we are all Latinas, so it's no Colombian and Mexican and Panamanian. We're all a family here, and I think we find that once we're here in Los Angeles and in the US. So for me, it's highlighting each other's flavors and beauty from all our different countries.
Saludos a toda la linda gente que habla español. Voy a hablar en inglés so we all understand. So, everything that everyone said here, and thank you so much to Christina.
You hear me now? Yeah. Ah, okay. Pero me escucharon lo del saludo, ¿verdad? So thank you to Christina. Thank you to this. There you are. To this opportunity just to be here and speak our mind and just share some love. I think that, you know, I get a lot of DMs on social media from women that are broken, from women that have a past of abuse. I went through domestic violence, so I think a lot of women come to me for that. And just like you were saying, you know, people will be attracted to maybe something similar in you that they see, right? And so I think ours is the opportunity also to know that we were created the way we were created, the way we were wired for a specific purpose, okay? And that part of our story has a huge impact and power in somebody else's life. What you lived through, your pain is not in vain, ladies. It is not lost. God was there with you. I'm also a woman of faith, and I know for a fact that when you sit in that fire, God is there with you. So you did not get burned. You are here today for a reason and a purpose, you know? And so we can help each other. We can hold each other's hands. And that's what I want to do through journalism, through telling stories, through just loving on people. Whatever you can do when you see a woman, highlight what's great in them. You just don't know what they're going through. And I love it when people do it to me. There are moments that I've lived in private, and sometimes there's shame for that. But you know what? We tell our story, we set it free, and we don't keep it anymore.
Can a few of you share a time that you were scared to go after an opportunity or ask for help, and then you overcome that fear, had that courage, and it worked out so great for you?
So just a little bit about myself. I do lighting design for concerts, tours, award shows, things of that nature, and I also direct music videos and commercials. And sometime last year, I went to a Nicky Jeezy event. It was a money marketing or money tools event or something. Money rules? Money moves. Money moves, I'm sorry. It was a great event though. But before that event, I was struggling with asking for a livable wage. You know, I work with a lot of white males. Generally speaking, I'm the only black female, and thank you. And a lot of times, my male coworkers are paid 2 or 3 times more than what I'm paid. So I went to that event, and I was empowered, and I was inspired, and after that, I started demanding the same rate as everybody else. And the funniest thing about that is the moment I asked for it was the moment I got it. So I was scared for almost no reason, really. I need this. Okay, cool. What? It was that simple.
Why is it important to set boundaries and sometimes say no when people want to partner and collab?
We usually want so much that when we're given, we want to take in abundance, right? Like we're just like, if there's like free samples, you're like, okay, I'll take one. Okay, I'll take another one. Okay, I'll take it. So you just want to take everything. And so I realized when they were asking me to partner up with certain brands or do certain things, I had to stop myself and ask me, is this for me or is this for the money? Who am I as a person? Selling this tea on Instagram, that's gonna make me money, but is that the truth? Am I a liar? I'm not a liar. So I couldn't take that deal. So I started basing it on that. And I think a lot of times we just wanna work. A lot of times we just want clients. A lot of times we just wanna be, you know, in the limelight and doing things. And so my thing to you is, if you're going to take any work, if you're going to take any client, if you're gonna take any project, make sure that it's organically you, because there's people watching you. Even if you don't think they are, people are watching you. If I say I drink whatever it is I drink and I really don't drink that, people who work 8 hours a day, people who with really hard-earned money, with kids, with family, are gonna go spend that because they believe me. And so I made it, I've lost a couple of sponsors, I've lost a couple, but because I don't believe in them, or I don't like what they represent, I always do my research, or because I simply don't use it.
So do you have advice on how to respectfully, in a way, turn down some kind of collaboration or opportunity?
Oh yeah, that's hard, because you don't want to be mean, because you're like, oh yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I just simply just say no. No, thank you. Just there's no nice way to say it. I'm straight. No thanks.
Yanina?
Yeah. So obviously with working. Hello. So obviously I work with a lot of brands, and I remember when I started out, my thing was, how am I ever gonna be seen? How am I gonna get paid for this? Like, I was doing freelance hosting, but I was training because of digital media. I was going into a blog, and I remember the first brand that contacted me was Target, and I was like, Target? Hi, how are you doing? You know, and they were like, yeah, we want to pay you $300 for a blog post. This was 5 years ago, and I was not making any money. So I was like, $300 for a blog post? Sure, what do I gotta do? And they sent me this package and everything, and as I started my brand, I started getting a lot of brand deals and offers. And this one specific person, I still remember his name, Kyle, from a brand, reached out to me and he was like, hey, I want to pay you X amount of money for you to post this. It's like, you guys have seen it on Instagram, social media. It's a stick-on bras, then you squeeze it. If you ever go on my social media, it's just not the type of things I do. It doesn't mean that it's bad. I'm not bashing it. It's a company. It obviously makes money, but it doesn't match my brand. It doesn't match who I am. So therefore, I said, unfortunately, this doesn't match my aesthetic and my brand at this time, so I'm gonna say no. This guy sent me 15 emails afterwards, kept upping up the money. And it got me really mad, because at this point it was like, how many people say yes to this because of the money? And it's frustrating because I don't do this for the money. Because if I did it for the money, I would have been out 6 months in. Like, you do not make money in the beginning. So I was like, I kept having to recheck myself when the teas came around, when other things that either I didn't care to use, or even something as simple as, I'm a tequila drinker. Vodka companies contact me and I'm like, I don't drink vodka. I'm not gonna post it. So it's like, I have to honestly stay true to my brand and know that the right door will open that matches me, so that when people do collaborations with me, when people talk to me, when people go to my page or see my things, they're like, this is 100% Yanina, because we've seen what she does and doesn't do. And at the end of the day, whether it's brands or people, they know that they're actually dealing with a real person. And to me, that has more value.
If I could just piggyback off of what you ladies said, I learned the hard way that not all money is good money. So that's all I got for you. Not all money is good money.
Bars. Anyone else want to add to that question? Okay, so the next one, what issues have you faced being a woman in a male-dominated industry? This might be a long answer. Who wants to go? Okay, Myrka?
Do you hear me? Is it okay now? I I think it's working. Okay, great. Well, I think that as women, the payment issue always comes up, and I started over 20 years ago, and being in Spanish television, unfortunately, it's even worse because of the machismo mentality. So I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with that. It's difficult. I think you have to be more excellent. I think you have to be better. You have to work harder, work longer hours, do more than what they ask you to do. They would ask me to do one story. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you 2 or 3. I have these. You ask me for an idea, I give you a bunch more. And still we weren't getting paid the same. But you know what? I did it because not for the money, but because I wanted to tell stories that meant something and that changed people's lives. And we know that news can change somebody's life and perspective. Now, I love to do stories that talk about actual people, not just what's going on in the moment to inform an audience, which is important in and of itself. And I've been a professor of journalism, and that's a whole other topic about how journalism has changed. Just a side note, ladies, journalism was built and created to elevate society, not to put people down. That is not what we're living in today. So what we see today in social media and in television, for the most part, is not journalism. It's not created to criticize people, to bring them down. It's created to tell the truth and to elevate your society and bring solutions. So in any case, talking about the way that it used to be, we've come a long way, okay? We have, and we still have a lot more to go to. But I think just doing your best and not quitting. I know a lot of people that were like, okay, this industry's not for me. Why? Because we had to work a lot of holidays. We had to work, when I was 21 years old and I celebrated my 21st birthday working in the middle of the night. And I remember coming home and telling my mom, ay, mami, pero imagínate, me están haciendo trabajar el fin de semana and all this other stuff. She's like, niña, no es lo que quieres hacer en tu vida. And I'm like, yeah. She was saying, isn't this what you want to do with your life? Wasn't this the goal? You got that job in television. Yeah, but I didn't want it all the way down here. I didn't want to get paid, $1,000 a month. But hey, you stick it through. And she taught me, you know what? Give your best at all moments. Do your best in every single moment. And trust me, things will start turning around. When you do something with excellence, I don't care the color of your skin, someone's gonna take notice. And I understand, sometimes it's harder for us. But listen, we have to live in this world, we can't quit. And we can't go in with a chip on our shoulder and complain 24/7. Listen, we were born women for a purpose and a reason. There's other things that, you know what, we get praised for. So thank God for that. And that's why we're together. That's why we have these expos, so we can hire each other, so we can build each other up, and so we can let each other know that, you know what, you are beautiful the way you are. You are beautiful no matter what your weight, and you're beautiful. And everything that you're doing means something. So don't give up. Don't give up, I think, is the most important thing.
Ariana?
Okay, so I have 2 aspects on this. The comedian side, there's a lot of male comics. There's not that many female comics, and the reason is that a lot of female comics don't find the support, or there's a lot of male comics. When I first started doing comedy, I said, what am I gonna talk about? Okay, women, we have a lot of funny shit happen to us. Oh, yes! And the first thing I was told was, don't talk about penises and don't talk about PMS. Why? That's what we deal with. That's what I'm gonna talk about, the things that relate to us. So I have like a specific joke, and my male comic friend was like, I don't want you talking about that because then men are picturing things in the room, and I'm like, they're gonna picture that shit anyway. So why not bring it to light? Like, why not show the female side of it, right? So I think a lot of times women are being filtered in what we are allowed to say, and we need to learn to just stand up for ourselves and say it. Like, men can go out there and they can talk about how they have all these kids and everything about like women's and side pieces, so why can't we have side pieces?
Pórtese bien, muchacha. Sit down. I want to add to Ariana's really quick. I think that we do get filtered, and it is very hard with the male-dominated, in the industry. But I want to call women out really quick, because it's really easy for us to turn and look at men and say, they don't give us the opportunity, or they're not allowing us to do this, or they're not giving me this job and they're not paying me the same. Yet, when a woman comes in the same field as you and asks you, hey, how did you do that? What app did you use to edit that? How did you write that? How did you get where you are? You say, I can't remember. I don't know. And so it's like, it's easy. Yeah, we're gonna deal with men not wanting to give up their job. But let's share as women. Tell me where you got your hair done. Tell me where you got that shirt. Tell me how you did it. I have asked publishers from books. I don't want to write a book. I'm just a curious person. Wow, how did you write a book? And she's a friend. And I said, hey, how did you write your book? And I honestly thought she was going to be like, oh, girl, well, just una plática, a conversation. The look on her face changed. She no longer saw me as a friend. She saw me as her competition. Oh, wait, Melissa wants to write a book. Uh-oh. But the book I'm going to write maybe is totally different than yours. So why not share that? So what I'm trying to say is, yeah, there's men, and we have to, like she said, we're born to fight. Women give birth, okay? We're born to go up with that, but you got to share. It's not only men who are pushing us in the field and the industry, it's our own. We hide it from ourselves. We do this to ourselves. We got to stick together.
Yeah. And along with that, there's been so many times where I say something and I see the wives telling the guy, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? So like, don't do that shit. You're tearing ourselves down. Just empower each other and laugh. She said something funny, fucking laugh. It takes a lot of guts to stand. It's not easy to stand in front of 1 million people and make them laugh, or like even 5 people. I swear, I used to like shake like this, no joke, when I would talk in front of 4 people. So for me to get to where I am, and then to see a woman tell her man that she can't laugh because I said the joke, is very heartbreaking. So that comes with like being there for each other. And then on the acting side, I've experienced a lot of like, males go out for roles. There is this thing going on where women are like, what's the word? Like, not just sexually molested or sexually abused or like said comments or remarks. That does exist. So we also need to find a way to tear that down and stand up for ourselves and teach our male friends to become our allies and actually like tell them, dude, you're being a gentleman, like good for you, because that's how we're gonna start building and changing out of that format.
Yes, I think elaborating on what Myrka was saying, I think we cannot make excuse and concentrate on that and just do our best work and let your work speak for yourself, because sometimes people meet you and they don't know your story and they might get certain vibe from you and judge you, and they don't really know your story and they might pick on your little things that at the end of the day they don't really matter. So just put your best work out there and let that conquer and empower you and show the world the message that you want to bring. I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, so I know I'm moderating, but because this is a women's empowerment expo, I just want to add to being in a male-dominated industry, because I think it's important for young women to hear this. I didn't tell you my background, but I've been in the hip-hop industry for 10 years. I do interviews, and any interview I do, it's always, who'd you have to sleep with to do this? Who'd you have to blah, blah, blah. Ladies, please do not feel like you have to sleep your way into an opportunity, because that's what they're used to. So if you feel like you have to do it to get an opportunity, you're actually digging yourself a deeper hole because they look at you as everybody else. If you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be respected, like you do not have to sleep your way into an opportunity. So don't ever let any male ever think that you have to do that to be in a position you're supposed to be in. So the last part of this panel is I'm going to ask everybody an individual question. So I'm going to start with Erica. Do you feel it's important that more women take the step to take on positions that statistics show are outnumbered by men?
Absolutely. I think it's very important that women start taking on leadership roles. We need to be in places where we're not seen before. I started touring when I was 17, like fresh out of high school. And the moment I stepped on a tour bus, one of my mentors told me, she was a female, she told me, never sleep with anybody that you're touring with because they will never take you serious after that. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And years later, every single tour I'm on, you have the groupies, you have men who automatically think you're a groupie and things of that nature. So yeah, anyway, long story short, what was the question? Oh yeah, we need leadership roles. It's very important because we're going to be the people that's going to lead ourselves. People, like she was saying, you know, they're not going to give us the keys to life. We have to give it to each other. So it's just very important that we keep that in mind.
That answered the question. Davina, as founder of Alegria magazine, which highlights Latina women who give back to others, why is it important to you to continue to do this, and how does uplifting another woman contribute to your own success?
Yes, absolutely. When I started my media company 7 years ago, it felt pretty lonely, and I mentioned this last week at Femme Latinas in San Diego. It felt pretty lonely, and it is beautiful to see how far, even though we have a lot more to do, we've come. And I feel that this spirit of collaboration is the only way that we're gonna uplift each other. And like I said, that's been my mission. The reason I created Alegria was because going back to see my parents in Colombia and living in LA for so long, I always felt that everything that was in print here was low end and showed us in a way that was insulting and vulgar, and I didn't like how they portray Latinos. And I would go to other countries like Mexico City, Colombia, Spain, and I would see these beautiful publications with beautiful paper and high quality. And I said, we deserve something like that. We don't need, just a cheap little newspaper. No, we need something beautiful that shows, it can give us the feeling of the coffee table book. Pride, a sense of pride of our leaders, our people, and that's my mission. I think that's what makes me happy, what gives me alegría, is really uplifting and my community.
Amazing. Melissa, you recently started a podcast, Unravel Today. Why did you start this, and what do you want listeners to take away?
I think, I'm not sure who wrote the quote, but it's, if you know better, you do better. And so a lot of times we're really ashamed of what we go through, of the things that happen in everyday life, and so I thought, why not have a podcast where I'm just completely 100% raw. I don't have my life figured out. I can't afford red bottoms. My living room, if you walk in right now, there's shoes everywhere, there's cups in the dining table. I cooked pasta yesterday and there's still dishes in the sink. I didn't wash, I don't have it figured out, but yet we look at each other and we expect each other to have it figured out. And so I wanted to hear and be able to be myself somewhere. And I created Unravel Today. Go follow Unravel Today on Instagram. And I created Unravel Today for those women. And I sometimes catch myself, because I'm a mom and a working mom, and I'm talking about my working mom stuff, and then I look at the followers, and it's single girls, it's younger girls, it's just women in general. I have men who have emailed me, and it's just simply the realness. We love going on Instagram and seeing, the feed of the pretty girls with their cute little kids, and they're all nice dressed up, and, we like that, we double tap it, but that's not real life. And I feel like I need to shine light on real life so we can get out of those cycles, so we can change the same things that we've been doing that haven't been working for our parents and our grandparents and everybody else. So if we know better, we do better, but we can't know unless we talk about it. So I want to talk about it.
Myrka, how does being a woman in the media industry sometimes magnify guilt and shame that comes from abuse, emotional abuse, and divorce?
So sometimes when you work in media, so people get to know you too, even though you are a person that was hired to tell the story, sometimes you do become the story. And it's not something that I was ever seeking, even though some people do, but it wasn't what I was ever seeking. And so I lived through a lot of things in public, you know, in front of everyone. And I think that because we're here with women, I have to tell you that some of my harshest critics were women, and it broke my heart. You know why? Because I was just one of you going through something. And just the other day, I wrote someone that said something. I posted a picture of 20 years ago, and she's like, oh, what happened to your beautiful face? And I said, you know what? It was 20 years ago. Please be kind, because it hurts my heart. Like, okay, so yeah, time passes, right? So it's women that do that. And I just, you know, it's, being in the public eye is a double-edged sword. I think a lot of people that are not in the public eye think, oh, it's wonderful and it's such a great opportunity, and it is. I feel blessed that I've been able to do this and have been, you know, in the media for so long. So I'm not complaining. But there's another part of it that yes, it can hurt. And so I try to be real, just like you were saying. And so if I have to tell someone, yes, of course I'm going to put the pictures where I look better. Absolutely. I want to look as best as I can. You know? Come on. And so other people, if I put something on Snapchat with little ears where I'm playing with my mom, I've been told, oh, you're too old to be having a little doggy filter on Snapchat. I'm like, no, I'm not. Who said? Who said? I mean, there is all this, there's ageism also, guys. So a lot of people think they can't do something because you're young. Other people try to curtail you because you're too old, because you're a woman, because you're brown, because you're white, because you're whatever. I mean, we were called double minorities, women and Latinas, and oh my gosh. Well, you know what? We have double, triple, quadruple the talent and the experience. We have so much more to give. So if you're someone that is in the public eye, know that this is going to come. But you know, what I try to do, honestly, is to fight that criticism with love. And I just don't insult them back, but tell them, you know what? What you said really hurt me. Like, I don't know you, but just saying this hurts me. And some people have come back and said, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. So sometimes fighting back and letting people know with love. There's times to clap back, and there's time to stay quiet, you know. So I would say that use your discretion with that. But if something hurts your heart, I say speak up. Say it. Let someone know, you know what, like, you're so inappropriate. Like, don't say that stuff to me. You know, so I think it's important to do that. And now, you know, when I was working in news, there wasn't all of this. I mean, social media has changed at such a rapid pace. In the last 10 years, everything has just blown up. And so we're exposed at all moments. And we are forced to show the better side of things. But I believe that showing and talking about your true story, talking about your struggles, those are the ones that get people to come to you and say, oh my gosh, I've been through the same thing. And we have to use our platforms for good. We were given this opportunity only, if only, to help someone else. That's it. That's the only legacy I can leave. Doesn't matter about Emmys, doesn't matter about awards, doesn't matter about your paycheck can go up and down in the industry. One day it's great, one day it's not. One day you freelance, one day you have a great sponsor. But you know what? When I leave this earth, I want someone to be able to say, you know what, my life was a little better because she loved me through something, even if it was on Instagram.
And by the way, you're beautiful, whether that was 20 years ago or not. So, Ariana, what brought you here today to speak in front of all these women, and what do you want them to gain from your message today?
I think the reason Christina put me on this panel, well, actually, we spoke about, is sexual abuse. I am a survivor of child sexual abuse. I was molested by my mother's husband, and I have made it a mission. I've partnered with Now, who started Bold Ascensions, and I first shared my story with her and her campaign, and from it, we learned how powerful and how needed these conversations are to the community and to society. So we are here to speak about the unspoken. No more do women need to hear like, shh, don't say that, or how embarrassing. No, this happened and it needs to stop. It needs to be brought to light, and we need to find ways to help people that are going through it or know people that know somebody that went through it, because it's hard on both sides. It's hard for the parent of the child. It's hard for your future significant others. There's so much involved with it, and like all the trauma that comes from it, the self-sabotage that comes from it, the PTSD, everything. And a lot of people don't talk about it just because they don't like being uncomfortable. Well, guess what? If you're a true friend, you talk about the uncomfortable. You're there for them, and you make this conversation. You don't make somebody hide. So that's what I'm here to talk about, and that's what I've learned, and talking about it has helped in my healing. I'm not always as put together when I talk about it. There's times where I'm like bawling because our emotions work that way. Sometimes they're up and sometimes they're down. So that's it. Like, just be open and talking and know that you're not alone.
Being a female, a woman of color, and an entrepreneur coming into LA from a different state or even country to a competitive industry, was there ever a time where you felt like you had no support from friends or family from such a big change in life?
Yeah, so I changed my career, I want to say 2.5 years ago. I co-owned a music management company, and I was the CFO of it, starting at the age of 17, and when I turned 24, I was burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. I was the only female in the company. I was never getting recognition, and it was a double-edged sword because it was my personal life that I was involved with, and my business life. Like, the main person held both ends of the stick for me. And when I decided to back away from it, everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? You built this company, you're about to leave? And I literally got up and I said, you can keep everything. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go to a treatment center. I need to get myself together because I was severely depressed. And I went for a month and a half. When I came out, a person that I see as a sister of mine said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to get a divorce. I want to leave the company, and I don't need anything else. And I had $300 in my bank account. My dad had passed away 6 months before. And I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I remember that in the time that I was in treatment, I was journaling a lot, and I've been Christian my whole life. But I really had to be like, yo, God, you really gotta get me right now, because I got no one else to call and be like, hey, can you help me with a 6-month loan, like something? My mom is a single mom, and I have a turning 18 in 2 weeks year old sister, so like she has her own bills to help her with school. I was like, how is this gonna happen? And that's when I started the blog. So now you see why those $3 little $100 from Target really meant a lot to me. And every month, I just kept telling myself, there's an interview from Oprah and 50 Cent. And she asked him a question, and he said, you can either do one of two things. You can either pray or you can worry, but you can't do both because then you're mocking God. And that really stuck to me. And since then, I've always lived by it. I don't know. When times have gotten tough, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna make rent. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And the last time that I went through that, I called my best friend in Miami. And I was like, Jessica, I need some sort of conversation because I think I should go back to Miami at this point. And she was like, you moved there 7 years ago and you told me that Miami was never an option back. So I'm telling you as your friend, I need you to hang up the phone, I need you to pray, and let that shit go. Because you're not coming back. And I remember I lived by Universal Studios, and at the time I had a virtual billboard on Universal Studios. And I was driving by it, and I see the billboard, and I'm like, all right, I park on the side, and I just started praying, and I was like, God,
people joke and say I got you on speed dial. Like, I need something to happen because my rent is due tomorrow. I have this thing that's like late 3 weeks already. Like, I really need something to happen. I got home and I was really tired. And I was like, I'm gonna check the mail tomorrow. There's nothing coming in, let's be honest. So I was like, no, stop being lazy, go check the mail. I checked the mail and I had an envelope from my agent from commercial work. And I was like, oh, it's probably a statement, woohoo, whatever. And I open it and it was down to the cent 3 times what I had just prayed for. And I started crying. And I FaceTimed my best friend. And I was like, do you see this paper? And she was like, what is that? And I go, I just got to check. My agent forgot to pay me the back end of that print campaign I did. And she goes, do you understand why I'm telling you now that it's so creepy but amazing how you have like God on speed dial? And I just need you to really understand, you're never coming back to Miami. So I think that throughout that whole 6 to 8 month experience that I went through, not many people believed in me. Everybody laughed when I left this company that I had built for 7 years with no recognition, no nothing. I left a marriage of 7 years, like, not a marriage of 7 years because I would have been like 15 years old, but like I was in a relationship. And you know, I got divorced by 25. I was like, 25 and divorced? This is a quarter-life crisis, isn't it? But I grew from it, and I think whether you're 25, whether you're 18, whether you're 14 years old, or you're 65, there's things that you're gonna go through life that are gonna hurt. And you're gonna be like, I can't do this anymore again. But yes, because you need to grow to the next level, and you have to believe in yourself because nobody else around you needs to believe in you. But the moment you believe in yourself, you just grow to such an intense level that the things in your life that are gonna happen are gonna be a story, so.
Let's give a round of applause for all our amazing panelists for the first panel. Before Kat comes up to introduce the moderator for the next panel, we're gonna do a picture.